Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for Tuesday, March 6, 2018 to order with roll call, please. You hit the
Betts.
Here.
Kostler.
Here.
Cavelli.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
McAlpine.
Here.
Weinhammer.
Here.
Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment on any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. I'm not aware of anybody signing in, so we'll go ahead and close. Unless there's anybody here who'd like to address the village board, we'll go ahead and close open forum. A couple things on the mayor's report. Give a little bit of an update on the Cary Grove High School situation that we had. The chief is going to give a little bit of an update on that, but I want to give just a well-done job to Josh Victor and Greg Rutzen for a great job in getting the answers for these things. It was really good police work.
And I want to start this by allaying the fears of our council here in regards to, I reviewed the trial publicity Supreme Court rules, so I won't talk about anything in regards to that. So, but what that means is that I can't speak about anything that's not public record. There's some complications here in regards to juveniles that are involved in this, and I can't identify those individuals. And there is still an ongoing investigation that I don't want to compromise either. So I just want to kind of give you a quick overview of what occurred that night. And to begin with it, and I'll call it a prelude, is that somebody creates a social media post that has some threatening language on it that is distributed through a number of different social media avenues. I believe Snapchat was one of them, and Instagram was the other one, in addition to Facebook, because that kind of comes around too. So that gets, this message is transmitted, and we, the police department, begin receiving reports of this right around 7:09 p.m. But, you know, they start coming in then, and it just happens that Deputy Chief Nadenoff is working, so he calls me. I end up coming in about 9 o'clock. By then, there's a lot of attention in regards to these threats, and there's a person that looks like the person that created it. So the investigators identify the location where that person is residing, go out to talk to that individual, and understand, of course, that, you know, we even thought that, okay, we have a person that has been identified. We had contact with the state's attorney before we went out and spoke to that individual. The state's attorney wanted more information than we had for them, so we were going to have to do some additional investigation. And in my mind, at that time, I thought that perhaps we would end up taking that individual into custody or petition them because they were a juvenile. I would be able to put something on Textcaster and allay everyone's concerns as it relates to this message that was sent out. Well, the best laid plans usually go awry when you think you know what you're going to do, and that's exactly what happened here, because when the investigators go out and speak to this individual, they are convinced that he didn't do it, that the individual that was purported to have sent this out and the individual that the community has kind of identified and wanted to be held responsible for didn't do it. Our investigators come back and tell me and the deputy chief that this individual didn't do it, and this is why. They tell us why. So now I have to put something out to identify to the community in regards to, yeah, we know about this issue that we're investigating, but we don't know the source of it. We have identified who we thought was the source, and that's no longer the source. So we do that, and those communications start about 9:48. The school puts something out, we put out 3 textcasters, and we end at about 11:49 in regards to the textcasters. So I'm here a little after midnight in regards to that, but at the last textcaster we put out indicates that, we've identified that it's not a threat that was issued by this person, and that there'll be an increased school presence, or increased police presence at the school the next day. So the next day, we do have our police officers at the school. The school recognizes a decrease in their student population of about 601 students that didn't appear. And by the way, throughout this, I just want you to know that myself and Neil Lisinski, the principal at the Cary Grove High School, are constantly exchanging information. He calls me, I call him. There was one instance where, there's a Facebook thread that they're comparing my messages to his messages, and then are considering that there's differences between the two and who's telling the truth and things of that nature. So I send out a clarifying text message after that. So, we're having these discussions and things of that nature. We wind us up at midnight the next day. We get information of a possible offender, and we do indeed end up arresting a person and charging them with a Class 4 felony for disorderly conduct. And that occurs after significant cooperation with the school and our police personnel, and as the mayor indicated, investigator or civil resource officer Victor and Detective Rutson do a very good job in regards to doing a very thorough investigation in regards to this matter. There's still an ongoing investigation in regards to this, so we're still looking into it. So there's some things that we have to wrap up as it relates to this. Some of the takeaways that because we can always do things better. I believe that we can always do things better. We had some discussions, and we will post the press releases that we put out on the website so that we can direct people to that information, because I had sent that out a couple of times to individuals that requested additional information in regards to this matter. And the other part of this equation was that we would like to reinforce the facts that the Textcaster is our chosen communication device for people, so that they understand that that's accurate, vetted information, and they should be conditioned to, number one, sign up for it, but number two, look to that as their source of information, because I will tell you that by the time that we were doing our investigation, the social media, I will call it a frenzy, was pretty much out of control. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have in regards to this matter.
And I think too, just to echo what the chief said here, we're going to look at other ways that we can get the message out about Textcaster, if it's through our Cary News Weekly, if it's through signature lines on emails that are sent out, if we're at events in the community, just to ensure that the public is aware that that is a communication tool that's out there for them to use.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what the chief said, we live in a very safe community. We rarely have issues like this, and we took away some great learning experiences from this. It's important that we grow from this, and we're prepared for if there's something that comes up. So, it was a good opportunity for us to check off some boxes on things that we need to get done.
Yeah, some of the things, there's an importance of having a, good communication, a good relationship with people before you have these type of incidents occur. And we have a very good working relationship with the Cary Grove High School, both with the current principal, Neil Lisinski, and the former principal, Jay Sargent, and then the deans, both on a personal and a professional level. So that, and there was something else, and it's escaped me now, so sorry about that. But certainly, the responsible use of social media is probably one of those things that we have to look as a takeaway in regards to this as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Excuse me.
Moving on, just a quick update on the McHenry County Council of Government meeting that we had last week. It was a presentation from Patrick Nally, the state's attorney, about the opioid crisis that we are experiencing here in McHenry County. It's actually quite staggering. In the 40-minute presentation, he kind of outlaid the problems that we have and, how it really impacts all the communities, that no one is exempt from it. So that's something that we need to be aware of. The police, they've been trained on the Narcan and that thing. So, we're ready and able to handle these situations. But this is a crisis situation that is not going away anytime soon. So it was a great presentation by the state's attorney. And then one more thing to add that we got since the agenda last week is our Public Works Department, once again, has been recognized by the Illinois Department of Public Health for our community water system for maintaining a perfect compliance in 2017 for 12 consecutive months in accordance with the Illinois Public Water Safety, Public Water Supply Regulations. So kudos to your team. Keep up the good work. These are all great things. We do have an award-winning water treatment plant, so we're glad that we're continuously recognized on that. I was not brought aware of any trustee reports, so we'll go to the next item of business. Is I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items number 1 through 8.
So moved.
Second.
I was just brought to my attention, I'm going to have to pull the minutes on items number 2 and 3, so let me rephrase this. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 and 4 through 7,
Or 4 through 8?
4 through
or
8.
4 through,
8.
We're missing an 8.
Sounds just right.
okay, 8, okay. With the people that.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Betts,
Yes?
Kostler,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer.
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve the village board minutes for February 20th, 2018.
So moved.
Second?
Any corrections, additions, edits? Roll call, please.
Kostler,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Abstain?
Betts.
Yes.
Thank you. And I will entertain a motion to approve the February 20th, 2018 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, edits? Roll call, please.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Abstain?
Betts,
Yes.
Kostler.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving forward to Administrator's report.
Mayor, Village Board, one quick update here. Budget detail information will be sent out to you here this Friday for our meeting on March 17th. We'll follow up next week with a presentation, so certainly review that information. Happy to meet with anyone next week if you have any questions or comments. That's it.
Thank you. Department head reports. Chief?
We'll be having hosting a coffee with the chief at Starbucks Friday the 9th at 9:30. So that, and then I do remember what it was that I was going to say before, and that is that these things have been happening in neighboring communities, and they've been publicized in the newspaper. So it's not isolated to the village of Cary or Cary Grove High School.
Thank you. Eric?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to update the village board on the upcoming schedule that's about to be set in motion with advanced disposal for the 2018 spring cleanup. As you recall from the previous discussions with the schedule changes, we also have approved with advanced disposal a change in how spring cleanup will work. Instead of being conducted in a continuous week on the same day as everyone's regular garbage collection, the village will be divided into 2 zones, north of Route 14 and south of Route 14. And those are on 2 different Saturdays. So for the area north of 14, Saturday, May 5th will be the day for the spring cleanup. The parameters of the program will be posted on our website, and Advanced Disposal will also be issuing a postcard similar to the regular garbage collection schedule change. They'll have details and the new dates for the new spring cleanup schedule. So again, north of Route 14 is Saturday, May 5th, and south of Route 14, south and west, is Saturday, May 12th. And lastly, as you know, winter isn't quite over yet, as you can tell by the East Coast and all around us. So we appreciate all the residents' support and your support in changing the ordinance to allow overnight parking restrictions through the month of March. So just a reminder to residents that is still in effect, and we never know, we might have more snow. So we appreciate it.
Don't say that.
Thanks, Eric. Brian, you have anything for us?
I just want to provide a quick update. The Westlake subdivision is going to start seeing some construction activity starting there this month. D.R. Horton actually officially closed on the first 42 units of townhomes that are in that subdivision. The Community Development Department gave them permission to begin prep work as far as installing silt benches and various prep work before construction starts. But likely the first building permit for a townhome in that unit for the last 8 years will be issued this month, and we'll see construction activity commence in there.
And they, too, Brian, they provided the annexation fees to the Village of Cary.
Correct. As part of the closing on the property last week, they did provide for the 42 units that they purchased a lump sum payment for the annexation fees that they're responsible for. We do have a letter of credit from Turnstone Group, which owns the remaining 100+ units in there that'll pay for the annexation fee going forward.
Thank you. Any future agenda items and discussion by the village board? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll, just a couple minutes, we'll start up the meeting.